Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered how a huge global company keeps track of every single penny? I mean, from a simple cup of coffee all the way up to a multi-million dollar deal? Well, it all comes down to having a rock-solid financial backbone. And in the world of SAP, that backbone is called FICO. Today, we're diving into the essential setup steps that make it all tick. Okay, ready to jump in? We're going to start with how a global system like SAP thinks about time. Then, we'll see how every single transaction gets its own unique identity. After that, we get to the really cool part, something called field status, which is kind of the secret sauce for controlling what users see on their screen. And finally, we'll connect all the dots and see how it all comes together. All right, first things first. Before we can do anything, we have to tell the system how our company actually measures time. And in finance, that always starts with the fiscal year. Now, this is where you really see how flexible SAP is. You know, not every company runs from January to December. So a simple setting, a variant like V3, can tell the system, hey, our year starts in April. But what about those 4 special periods? Think of those as the accountant's secret weapon. They're used just for year-end adjustments, to make sure everything is perfectly balanced for the annual report, without messing up the regular monthly number. It seems like a simple idea, right? Why not just let people post whenever they need to? But the answer to this question gets to the heart of one of the most important principles in any financial system, and that is control. And this right here, this isn't just a one-time setting. This is a critical monthly ritual for any finance team. At the end of every month, you lock the door on the previous period and open the door to the new one. Why? Well, just imagine the chaos if someone accidentally posted a massive invoice into last month's numbers after you've already closed the books. It would throw all your reports off. This simple act of locking and unlocking periods is a huge safeguard for your data. Okay, so we've nailed down the when of our transactions. Now, let's talk about the what. Think about it. A big company could have literally millions of transactions happening every day. How on earth do you keep them all straight? Well, the answer is you give every single one a unique, meaningful identity. Think of the document type like a tag or a label. The moment you see KR in the system, boom, that's a vendor invoice. If you see SA, it's a general journal entry. This little 2-character key is incredibly powerful. It controls how the transaction behaves, what information it needs, and even what number it gets assigned. And here's another layer of that control we were talking about, all tied to the document type. For your own internal transactions, you can let the system be the perfect bookkeeper, just assigning the next number in line. No gaps, no mistakes. But what happens when you get an invoice from a supplier? It already has a number on it, right? That's where external numbering is perfect. It lets you manually type in that supplier's invoice number, creating a perfect, auditable paper trail. All right, let's get to the real core concept of this whole explainer. This is fundamental to getting SAP configured correctly. We're going to look at how SAP controls the individual fields you see on your screen when you're actually entering a transaction. This is the perfect way to think about it. If you're recording a travel expense, the business absolutely has to know which department is paying for it. That's the cost center. But if you're just refilling the office petty cash box for $20, well, a cost center is completely irrelevant. Field status is how you manage this critical difference. Okay, so first up, you have required fields. These are the non-negotiables. Think about the dollar amount on an invoice or the date it was posted. If you try to save a transaction without filling these in, SAP will literally stop you with an error message. It makes sure that crucial data is never, ever missed. Then you have optional. The best example is probably a text or description field. It's there on the screen if you want to add some extra notes. But hey, if you leave it blank, the system doesn't care. You can post the transaction just fine. Now, this is where things get really smart. Suppressed fields are the ultimate tool for making screens clean and user-friendly. Instead of just cluttering up the screen with a bunch of fields that don't matter for a particular transaction, we just make them disappear. So for our petty cash example, that cost center field isn't just optional, it's completely gone. This prevents errors and makes the user's job so much faster. It's a total win-win. So right about now, you're probably thinking, wait, do I have to set these rules for every single field on every single screen? And the answer, thankfully, is a huge no. That would be an absolute nightmare. Instead, SAP uses this really brilliant layered system that lets you manage all of this way more efficiently. Think about it like organizing your music. You've got individual songs, those are your fields. You put those songs into playlists based on genre, like rock or chill. Those are your field status groups. Then your entire music library, which holds all of your playlists, is the field status variant. It's the same idea in SAP. You create these playlists of field settings for different types of accounts, and then you just assign the whole library to your company. And this table shows you exactly how that works in the real world. Just look at the cost center field. When someone posts to the travel expense account, which is using group G004, the system forces them to enter a cost center. It's required. But when they post to the petty cash account, which uses group G001, that exact same field is just gone. It's suppressed. Two totally different user experiences, all controlled by one simple setting. So really, the field status group is the real workhorse here. It's just a template. You set up a template for all your bank accounts, you make another one for all your expense accounts, another for revenue, and so on. Then, anytime you create a new account, you just assign the right template. It's what guarantees consistency across the entire company. Okay, let's bring this all home. We're at the final step, where we see how this whole logical structure of variants and groups actually gets turned on for your specific company. And this is where the power of that hierarchy really pays off. Instead of trying to manage hundreds of individual groups for your company, you don't. You assign one thing. You just tell your company which master list of rules to use. It's this beautiful single point of control that makes a super complex system surprisingly simple to manage. Now, the way you actually do this is designed to be really simple and safe. The golden rule in SAP is you never, ever change the standard settings that come out of the box. Why? Because system updates could just wipe out your changes. So instead, you just make a copy of the standard variant, give it your own name, and then you can customize your copy as much as you want. Once you link that new variant to your company, boom, all your rules are live. So what's the big takeaway here? What does all this detailed setup actually get you? Well, it's not just about some technical settings. It's about building a fortress around your financial data to ensure its integrity. It's about guiding your users with clean, simple screens that help them do their jobs better. And ultimately, it's about creating a single, reliable source of truth that everyone in the organization can count on. Just think about that for a second. The ripple effect of missing data, inconsistent reports, frustrated users, and bad decisions. It's a thought that really drives home just how absolutely critical getting this foundational configuration right is for any business that runs on SAP.